World ocean. Its waters hide hundreds of thousands of species of different living organisms. And somewhere, there is an animal hiding, capable of descending to a depth of over 6,000 feet and staying underwater for more than an hour. And this is not some invertebrate, but the largest predator on the planet. You are on the channel Animal Instinct, and today, by popular demand, we have a sperm whale on review. Hurry up, give your like, and take a deep breath because we are already diving. Meet the sperm whale, the only living representative of the sperm whale family and the largest of the toothed whales. It is impossible to confuse him with anyone else because the appearance of the sperm whale is quite unique. Thanks to its large rectangular head, it looks like a log drifting in the sea. And since sperm whales can reach a length of 65 feet and weigh up to 150,000 pounds, these are very large logs. Moreover, earlier, when the population of sperm whales was more numerous, experts spoke about 200,000-pound individuals. Female sperm whales, by the way, are noticeably smaller and slimmer than males. Their length rarely exceeds 50 feet, and the mass is 40,000 pounds. Where to start analyzing the appearance of this giant? Perhaps from the head. It is so large that in large individuals it can take up about a third of the total size. And at the bottom of such a head there is a long and narrow mouth which can open up to 90 degrees and is studded with 50 sharp teeth. Interestingly, the sperm whale only grows on its lower jaw, and each of these teeth can weigh up to 4.5 pounds. In the upper jaw, there are special recesses where each tooth falls when the mouth is closed. There are eyes on the sides of the head. But, despite the size of the eyeball up to 7 inches, sperm whales do not see very well because their pupils are motionless, and even where this giant hunts, vision is of little help. The animal's nostrils also have an interesting structure because it exhales air only through the left nostril. It is called a blowhole and releases a fountain of air when the sperm whale surfaces. But the sperm whale's right nostril is overgrown, but the nasal passage is preserved. Moreover, in the process of evolution, it has developed so much that it can hold the same supply of air as the lungs themselves. But what can occupy such a huge head? Brain. It is indeed very large in the sperm whale, so much so that the sperm whale has the largest brain on the planet, weighing approximately 15 pounds. Somehow it's not enough for such a head, don't you think? But all the remaining space is occupied by the sperm sac. It accounts for up to 90% of the weight of the head. And only the sperm whale has such a thing. In short, this organ consists of muscle tissue impregnated with a waxy fatty substance called spermaceti, and it performs many functions. For example, its lower part represents a group of isolated chambers that focus and direct sound waves, so necessary for hunting. In addition, this organ makes it easier for the whale to dive to depth and surface. And after all, the sperm whale, with the help of the inflow and outflow of blood, can change the state of spermaceti from solid to liquid, and this allows it to regulate its buoyancy and make its head more or, conversely, less heavy. Well, besides, the sperm sac plays the role of a pillow during whale battles. The fact is that sperm whales are very aggressive and fight for females by ramming each other with their foreheads. This may be why all their vital organs are removed from the front of their heads. The American writer Herman Melville, author of the famous novel Moby Dick, wrote, "The front part of the sperm whale's head is a dead blank wall without a single organ, without a single sensitive protrusion." What does this giant eat? The answer to this question lies at depths of 1 kilometer or more, where sperm whales dive to profit from something. And in general, he tries to avoid depths less than 650 feet, because for him, this is shallow water. Sperm whales are great gourmets and simply love to feast on deep-sea squid. Moreover, size does not matter to them, and the whale will happily eat both regular and giant squid. Such data were obtained based on the study of squid beaks that ended up in the stomach of sperm whales and traces of their suckers on the body. So, according to calculations, the maximum length of the squid that the sperm whale ate along with its tentacles was determined to be 55 feet. Well, sperm whales do not always have such luck, and usually the size of squid is much more modest. And since every day an adult whale must eat about 2,000 pounds of meat, it has to dive quite often. But this is not a problem at all, because the whale's body is perfectly designed for long-term immersion to great depths. Sperm whales can hold their breath for up to an hour and a half, and during this time descend to a depth of about 6,000 feet. To do this, during each breath, he renews 90% of the air in his lungs, and not 15 like people. And no, he stores the main supply of oxygen there. During a long dive, the sperm whale consumes the air supply in the air sac, which is formed by the right nostril, and in addition, its muscles are rich in myoglobins, and they account for up to 40% of the stored oxygen. At the same time, only 9% of the lungs contain oxygen, and the sperm whale's lungs themselves are smaller than those of other whales. This allows you to avoid decompression and quickly float to the surface. After all, in fact, sperm whales, like freedivers, take one deep breath before diving and don't breathe anymore. At the same time, his heart slows down to 10 beats per minute, and blood begins to flow only to vital organs. Descending to depth, the whale begins to scan into the water column using its echolocator. A muscle in the area of the sperm whale's nose produces a sound that is reflected from the skull, focused by the spermatozoa, and sent through the water at a speed of approximately 3,000 miles per hour. Reflecting from the surface, it returns to the whale and is captured by the lower jaw, transmitting information directly to the brain. So if you hear such clicks, about 2 per second, then you know that somewhere nearby, a sperm whale is looking for food. But as soon as the target is detected, the purity of the signals increases, and the sperm whale receives a picture in almost real time of the squid. Each such click acts as a blow and disorients it, so when it swims up, the whale grabs the almost finished squid and eats it. And in one dive, a sperm whale can catch a lot of prey. The graph shows that each hunt occurs approximately once per minute, which suggests that this is not a battle with giant squids. Rising to the surface, the sperm whale first defecates, because when diving to depth, it slows down many secondary processes. The sperm whale has to hunt in this way because it cannot catch up with anyone on the surface. After all, a whale usually swims no faster than 6 miles per hour, and during an attack it accelerates to only 21 miles per hour. But some sperm whales realized how to get easy prey. As soon as they see fishing vessels, they dive deep, and grasping the fishing line with their mouths, knock the fish off the hooks. Then the whale can only swim up to the prey and eat it. Moreover, other killer whale hunters do this too, but they shoot down the fish closer to the surface. Fishermen complain that they lose up to 30% of their catch this way, although in fairness, it should be said that fish in the diet of sperm whales takes up no more than 5%. It is clear that such diving exhausts the sperm whale. It needs to rest. But the whale does this in an unusual way. Like a soldier, he sleeps standing up. Sperm whales turn off both hemispheres of their brain during rest, and it seems that nothing can disturb their sleep. It all looks impressive, of course. Moreover, he needs only an hour and a half a day to rest, which is a record low for mammals. Sperm whales live in herds and are common in all oceans, with the exception of the Arctic Ocean. Such a pod can number hundreds or even thousands of individuals, but most often whales live in groups of about 10 to 15 individuals. Same age and, importantly, same gender. And during mating, it is very convenient for males to capture such a harem in females, because these are polygamous animals. True, you usually have to fight for it, butting heads with other males. The sperm whale's pregnancy lasts 18 months, after which only one calf is born, and it weighs no less than 2,200 pounds. At the same time, the baby is immediately able to swim with his mother, which is the key to successful survival. As for the population, it suffered greatly. Despite the fact that sperm whales have no enemies in their natural environment, except that killer whales can pose a danger to young individuals. There are still people who actively hunted whales. Moreover, for many centuries it was the most important fishing object. And despite the fact that meat was rarely eaten, whale teeth, its fat, spermaceti, and ambergris were highly valued. The sperm whales defended themselves as best they could and even periodically sank whaling ships, but this did not stop the hunters. For example, in the 19th century, 200,000 sperm whales were caught. But the 20th century became truly terrifying for them, when approximately 770,000 sperm whales were caught only since the 50s. This significantly undermined the population, and at last count there were no more than 400,000 left. But even the ban on fishing, introduced in 1980, is managed by some countries. For example, Japan continued to harvest sperm whales until 2009, explaining this for scientific purposes. Let's hope that human greed does not wipe out another unique and beautiful species from the face of the Earth. This is how interesting the largest predator on the planet turned out to be. And I hope you liked the video. Then I will be very glad if you rate it. Write in the comments, perhaps I missed something. Subscribe to the channel and don't forget to turn on notifications, and I'll say goodbye to you for a while.